Hey everybody, good night. It's Katrina from An Addict Speaks. I hope everybody's having a good week so far. I was coming down with like some flu thing or whatever, and thank God it went away. So I wanted to do this video to the public, to those who asked what causes, what I think might have caused this or that, and do I think it was do as I do with my daughter Kirsten, the girl that hated my pill addiction, the girl that knew a mother that would look at other mothers who were addicts and go, oh my God, how could they do that? How could they put their family in that position? How could they choose that over their kids? I was that mom. And my daughter was the girl who was scared of a needle, who kicked the doctor in the stomach. We had to wrangle her down just to get her to get a shot. I mean, that was my child, who by the end was suffering from skin not abscesses, but cellulitis, all kinds of awful things, not shooting up properly, and just, it was bad. And what I think with all my heart is that there just are no real answers as to, you know, what caused, what doesn't, because I've seen so many families that were picturesque and perfect and seemingly did everything right, and yet not one but two or three of the children would emerge to have addiction issues. Because of this being the case, we have to ask ourselves as a society, is it, you know, so many people say, well, it's not my problem. It's not my problem. Them addicts, blah, 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 it's not my problem. Why are you worrying about that stupid shit, addiction shit, blah, blah, blah. And I ignore them. I ignore them because I used to be a defensive person. When my daughter would come home, bless her heart, and anxiety was emerging in her. And I thought when I moved them from the city area to the suburbs, that I was giving them a better life. I thought for sure, okay, this will do it, this will keep them away from everything. And then lo and behold, she ended up having more problems. Other little girls that were suffering from their own issues, Kirsten would, you know, deal with them being, you know, mean to her. And when she would come home to me with stories, because she had a gentle, sweet heart, and she would compliment other girls. She was a beautiful girl herself, but she loved, you know, other people. She loved animals. She loved every animal. She wanted to rescue them all. When she'd come home with these stories, it would break my heart inside, and I would be so angry, and I wanted to rip them apart. And I would just go on this this tirade on how awful they were and all this stuff. And I remember Kirsten saying to me as she got older, Mom, I don't want to be like that. And I was that way because I was defensive. I had, you know, fought all my life. So I was like, well, that's what you do. You fight, you know, you don't let anybody do that to you. But what's so funny is that since she's passed away, my personality has been more like hers than my own. And a change has been happening in me that I can't explain. And a compassion for others, because lo and behold, the one person that you judge or that you don't understand, you will walk their walk at some point or another. And I find that a lot of people who are judgmental towards addiction or addicts have some past where that has been a struggle for themselves or for someone they've loved, and they've been angry about it. So the best way to deal with it is just to stay angry. I don't let them get to me, and I don't, because if they're not willing to change their views, I am not going to get stuck there with them. I'm not going to try to talk to those people. I will say to you, I understand, but I don't. Because if you are a patriot, if you're an American, I want you to put down a book if you're reading it. I want you to stop listening to music. I want you to stop watching movies. I want you to not do anything except sit in a room alone. Because if you think addicts are garbage, there's a whole generation of people that are talented, smart, creative. They're being lost. And if you don't think it affects you, it affects everyone. It affects all of us. America is being weakened, and we're being weakened because we are throwing away a whole segment of special people. And we're saying that they don't matter, that our 9 to 5 matters more. Our 9 to 5 matters, or our 10 to 5 matters more than what I do. That what I do doesn't matter because it's addict shit. It doesn't matter. It matters. It matters because there's someone out there who's a CEO whose son is dealing with this. There's a doctor out there who's dealing with this that might save your life. You know, nurses every day that are struggling with this sort of thing. You know? And it is a problem. It's an American problem. And if you're a patriot and you live here, what do you want to do? You know? If you don't want to do anything, that's fine. But what causes it, I couldn't tell you. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about one thing that I do know for a fact. That when I looked at my daughter, I thought, there's no way she could be suffering. She didn't lose her mother and father. She didn't do this, that, or the other. So she should be well adjusted. But she wasn't. She was suffering because others' choices. And I didn't see her suffering because I was stuck in my own. And that is our problem. We're so obsessed with what's going on in our lives, we don't see the suffering of the next person, including our own children and our own families. We think that we've done everything right, and we have. We've done the best we can because we're human. But it doesn't mean it's gonna, you know, something's not gonna come out of that, because other people make choices too. And those choices can affect your child, or can affect a parent, or whatever. And so when you ask me what I think causes it, I don't know. But I do know this. I know it's not something we can ignore. And I know that for the rest of my life, I will ask myself if I'd stop thinking so much about my own pain and maybe focused more on what could be possibly going on with my daughter. You know, maybe. And that's the question we all have to ask ourselves. Are we going to stay self-absorbed and be just focusing on our own little lives and our own little box? Or are we going to go outside of the box? So you don't have to listen to me. I'm just another whatever. But I think I've learned hard lessons the very, very hard way. And life is precious to me now, because there's a change that's been going on in me that I didn't welcome, I didn't invite. And I'm more like my daughter now than I ever wanted to be, because I thought people pick on the weak. I'm strong, don't get me wrong, but I'm open, I'm forgiving, I'm loving, and I care. And there are people out there who are so wrapped up in their own addiction, or trying to save their children or whatever, that they need people like us to stand up for them. Whether it's an addiction, or whether it's illness, or whether it's just, you know, depression, or whatever is going on in someone's life, you know. The church is missing from this very epic problem in our country. The church, Christ's followers, where are you? You know? Oh, it's not in your church? You don't have any addiction in your church? You're supposed to be the beam of light for those who are suffering. And I'm saying that as a woman who's being transformed from the inside out, and I don't even know what's happening. I wake up every day and I'm a little bit different. So I would just ask everyone to think about it and understand that it's not their problem, and it's not their fault, or their not doing this or them not doing that or whatever that caused whatever. It's life. The best you can do is the best you can do. And what happens is what happens. But make sure everything you do, since if you still have breath in your body, that what you do from here on out is the best you can do. And if you don't do the best you can do, try again, you know. But that's all you can do, and what happens is what happens, and it's all cause and effect, but it affects all of us. And if you're an American, you're damn right, addiction affects you. So that's all I have to say for tonight. Thanks, and I'll see you again. Have a great night.